So Nintendo just revealed the rest of Wave 5 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, and I have to say this is shaping up to be the best wave yet, even though I feel like I'm saying that with every single wave. There are a bunch of fan favorite tracks in here, as well as some that just look like they'll be fun to play, and the graphics of a lot of them really seem to have improved, especially when comparing them to their tour versions. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down all the footage that we got, not only from this trailer, but also from the Japanese Mario Kart 8 Deluxe website. And I'm just going to be talking about what's been removed, added, or changed in all of these courses. And before we start the video, I have a new Discord, so make sure to join that in the pinned comment down below. And you might also notice that my voice sounds a little bit different, and that's because I'm coming off of a cold. Nintendo really always seems to announce these things at the worst possible time for me. I mean, not only am I coming off of a cold, but I'm also supposed to be on vacation right now. But with all that out of the way, let's roll the intro and get into breaking down the trailer for Wave 5 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. And the first course that got revealed in the trailer, and the first one we're going to talk about, is actually one that got leaked a while ago, and that is Mario Kart Wii's Koopa Cape. While I personally would have preferred Toad's Factory to be remade over Koopa Cape, this is still an absolutely phenomenal course that I am so excited to see come back. The version that we're seeing in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looks like it's going to be following the tour variant of the course pretty closely, which in turn was modeled after the 3DS remake. However, this version of the course is definitely the best looking one that we've seen yet. While the grass and cliff sides look a lot like they did in the Booster Course Pass version of Rock Mountain, which didn't exactly look the best, all the underwater sections and the waterfalls look absolutely stunning. All the half pipes from the original Mario Kart Wii version have returned. However, the spinning electric things in the underwater tube have not, as that tube is now entirely filled up with water. And both of those last two changes did come from the Mario Kart 7 remake of the course. That tube that I just mentioned also is now completely in anti-gravity, which is a nice touch. The cliff sides that I mentioned earlier do seem to look a lot like those in the tour version, as in all other versions of the course they're a gray color, while in this version they are tan, just like in tour. There are also a few other minor aesthetic changes that reflect the tour version, such as the metal grates now being red, but other than that there's really not much else to talk about with this course. So now let's move on to the next one, which is Mario Kart Tour's LA Laps. And I must say, this course, even though it is definitely not on par graphically with the base Mario Kart 8 game, is definitely one of the better looking city tracks that we've gotten in the Booster Course Pass. The lighting and the overall beach aesthetic really lend themselves well to Mario Kart 8's art style. I'm not super familiar with the Tour original courses since I don't really play the game too often, but from what we've seen in the gameplay in this trailer, it really looks like it'll play very similarly to Sydney Sprint, which personally I have a lot of fun racing on. And from the Japanese website, what we've heard of this course's new remixed music sounds really good. So it looks like it'll be similar to Sydney Sprint in that regard as well. I will say it is a little bit disappointing that this city track is a bit of a graphical step back from Singapore Speedway that we got in Wave 4. However, I still think it will be really fun to play, and I hope it lives up to my expectations. But now moving on to our next track, it is another Mario Kart Wii course and a fan favorite. We have Mario Kart Wii's Moonview Highway. And this track looks absolutely graphically stunning in my opinion. The nighttime aesthetic really works well with Mario Kart 8's lighting engine. But this track also brings a feature into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that wasn't there before and that I've been wanting to return. It has brought back bomb cars from Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Kart Wii. Which also means there's now a possibility of Mushroom Bridge returning. Seriously though, I am so happy that these cars are now in the game because they cause so much chaos and they really add to the experience of Mario Kart. Gameplay wise, the course seems to be pretty similar to its Mario Kart Wii version, which I'm honestly pretty happy about. The course was a blast back in that game, and it'll most likely be the same in this one. Only major differences that I'm able to really point out are that there are now completely revamped billboards all across the Times Square-like area, which by the way has absolutely amazing lighting once again, and also the emblems of different characters are no longer on the walls of the course. But then moving on from Moonview Highway, our next course is actually a brand new one never before seen in Mario Kart, and that is Squeaky Clean Sprint. sprint. And graphically, this course might honestly look even better than Moonview Highway. I mean, all the surfaces having reflections, it really looks like something that you'd see in the original Mario Kart 8 base game, which I guess would make sense given that this is a completely new course. However, if I were a betting man, I would put money on the fact that this course was originally made for Mario Kart Tour and is going to be featured in that game at some point soon, just like all the tracks in the Booster Course Pass that came to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe before they did Tour. This track was revealed to us a few weeks ago in the latest Nintendo Direct, and ever since that, I've been so hyped for this wave because it looks like it will be so fun to race on. All the footage we got in that Direct basically showed us the entire layout of this course, and it looks like it will be so much fun, and there's the added bonus of it looking phenomenal graphically as well. The track is also chock full of references as well. For example, the tiling on the walls of the bathroom has the same pattern as the sky in the original Super Mario Bros. And there's also a Parabitty-Bug alarm clock, just to name a few. The aesthetic of the course really reminds me a lot of GBA Ribbon Road that was in the original Mario Kart 8 DLC, which in my opinion is one of the best track remakes that we've gotten in all of Mario Kart. The snippet that we got of this track's music also sounds phenomenal as well, so I can't wait to hear the full version when this track releases alongside the rest of Wave 5. But then, moving on to our 5th course, we have our next Tour City track, which is Tour Athens Dash. And this course probably has the biggest difference I have ever seen between the graphical quality of the main part of the track and the background, because the main part of the track looks absolutely phenomenal. The detail on just the falling pillars alone is really good. It looks straight out of the Mario Kart 8 base game. But then you look at the background and oh yeah, it looks like something straight out of Mario Kart DS, I am not gonna lie. And I'm just dumbfounded at the fact that there's such a huge difference between the graphical quality of the main track and the background. I mean, the main track looks absolutely phenomenal. That road texture and those falling pillars I mentioned earlier are just absolutely gorgeous. But the fact that the background is so low poly, and it is really noticeable given that it's not even the far background, it is right next to the main track, it is just absolutely insane to me that Nintendo wouldn't even put the effort to just make these a little bit more detailed with some slightly more detailed textures. With that little rant aside, though, I must mention once again that the pillars falling on this map are what really make me love the graphical style of at least the main track. Not only do they have the same function as they do in GCN Dry Desert that you can trick off of them, which is a really fun mechanic in my opinion, but they also just really add to the aesthetic of the track. The same thing applies here where I'm not super familiar with the course's layout as I don't play a lot of Tour, but it does look like it will be very fun to drive from what we see of it. I did look at a little bit of footage when this course first came out in Mario Kart Tour, and it looks like it'll adapt really well to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's playstyle, given that it doesn't look like there are a lot of sharper turns. But then moving on, we have a course that is probably the best in this entire wave graphically and potentially gameplay wise. We have GCN Daisy Cruiser. This course is, for good reason, a fan favorite from Mario Kart Double Dash, and I have to say, it looks so good in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It is clear that it has been enhanced heavily from the Mario Kart Tour version. And it even has the wonderful touch of the classic Mario Kart logo on the starting banner, just like it was in Mario Kart Double Dash. Gameplay-wise, the course looks just like its original version, however, it hasn't been confirmed if the item boxes and tables in the ship will still tilt back and forth with the ship rocking in the waves of the ocean, which was one of my favorite features of the original and what, in my opinion, made the course feel so unique, so I really hope that that feature hasn't been taken away. Just like in the Mario Kart 7 remake of the course, the pool in the starting area is also now able to be driven through, which is a nice return. And besides that, the only other real changes to the course are aesthetics, which now make the course even more gorgeous than it was in its original version. This track is looking to be a real contender for first place in my ranking video for this wave, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on watching that video. But then, moving on to our next track, we have one that I've been looking forward to for a while, given it was leaked right after Wave 2 released. We have GBA Sunset Wilds. Sunset Wilds was definitely one of my favorite tracks back in Mario Kart Super Circuit, and while I would have preferred if they added a few more elevation changes in this remake, it is by far still the definitive edition of playing this course. The level of detail on the textures and the overall aesthetic looks a lot like N64 Calamari Desert in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass, which I'm honestly okay with. That course looked pretty good, and the fact that it's a desert course makes the blander textures not be as noticeable. Plus, this track does have one graphical feature that it will likely retain from its Super Circuit version that I think will more than make up for it. You see, back on the GBA, this course would have the sun get lower and lower in the sky every lap until the final third lap, it's nighttime, and I think that is an incredibly cool feature that completely changes the atmosphere of the course throughout the duration of the race, and I really hope this does end up carrying over to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There's not much else to say about this track other than the fact that I can't wait to race on it because it looks pretty darn fun, but it does definitely look a lot flatter than I would have hoped. I really, once again, do wish that there were more elevation changes from the original GBA version. So now moving on to our final track, we have one that I honestly was really expecting to be in Wave 6, given that it's a winter-themed track. We have Tour Vancouver Velocity. And once again, even though I don't play Tour, I have heard so many great things about this course that it's one of the best city tracks, so I have been really waiting for this to come to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I've been looking forward to playing it. Graphically, it looks a lot like Singapore Speedway as well, which in my opinion is the best looking city track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe so far, so maybe this one will end up looking better. I'll have to probably see the full track first to make that judgment. Either way, it'll definitely be close. One thing that I couldn't help but notice, however, in this course might be huge for this game, and that's the fact that in the hockey ring on the Jumbotron, you can see an Ice Bro. Now, this might just be a character that is showcased in the track, and it's not an actual racer, but I feel like this is hinting possibly towards there being alternate costumes added in this wave. It's been something that's been speculated for quite a while now, especially after they started adding new characters which themselves have character alts, but I guess we'll just have to see. However, one more small detail that might support this theory is that there's a Team Ice Bros banner, and in the base game, the only advertisements for actual teams have been ones that are associated with characters on the roster. One more thing I'd like to point out is the bridge section is now in anti-gravity, which is exactly what the Mario Kart 8 custom track of this course does, so I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer to add this. But what do you all think? Do you think this is going to be the worst wave in the Booster Course Pass because it took a graphical step down slightly even though all the courses look potentially more fun than ever? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, then why don't you press the like button? I mean, if you got this far in the video, you probably did like it. And if you want to see more content like this and my ranking of all the tracks in this wave, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that video as well as more Nintendo content in general. Don't forget to join the BlockStop Discord, and with all that out of the way, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Jacob with the Game Block, signing off.